Disclaimer. The purpose of this video is meant to be informative as to what truly happened behind the scenes if the now deleted Milky Way and the Galaxy Girls Discord fan server along with the cancellation behind the fan-made series made by Unofficial Milky Way, also known as Hopping Icon. Please take this video as a way to learn from the actions of the following individuals: Hopping Icon, Bianca, Kalina, and Landon and Emma. Please do not send harassment to any of these individuals mentioned, as it is heavily not condoned, let alone an appropriate action to do so. Only use this video to understand the truth and acknowledge that the existence of this video is meant to hold those mentioned accountable for their actions and to spread awareness as to what happened. Please do proceed viewing this video with the utmost discretion, as this video will contain the following that some viewers may find discomforting: workplace abuse, toxic environment, death/sexual threats targeted towards a minor, transphobia and homophobia, harassment, violent arguments, disrespect towards co-workers, mentions of suicide, etc. Please proceed with discretion upon reading the warnings.
For those of you who are fans of Milky Way and the Galaxy Girls, you may already be familiar with the content created by the name of Unofficial Milky Way. If not, then here is a small brief introduction as to what is Milky Way and the Galaxy Girls. Please note, this is a quote directly from the Milky Way and the Galaxy Girls fandom wiki page. Milky Way and the Galaxy Girls is an original concept created by Lauren Faust. It is inspired by the 90s Strawberry Shortcake, except the characters are different types of girls, supposedly being the personifications of planets. There was also going to be an animated series pitched to Hasbro, where its pilot would be about Milky Way accidentally freeing the black hole from a planetoid while she was exploring the solar system, and meets each Galaxy Girl to use their special talents for defeating black hole. Unfortunately, Hasbro disagreed with the concept. It later became the more famous television show called My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. So, now that you know a little bit about what Milky Way and the Galaxy Girls are, let's talk about Unofficial Milky Way, or by his aliases, Hopping Icon and Corey Barber, who I'll be referring to him as just Corey since it technically is his name. However, as I said in the disclaimer, he isn't going to be the only person we'll be talking about in this video. Unofficial Milky Way is a fan channel created by Hopping Icon. The channel consists of videos relating to Milky Way and the Galaxy Girls, such as TikTok shorts, questions, facts, fan-made episodes, etc. Although the episodes started as a silent text series, which consisted of characters talking and music in the background with no auditory dialogue, however, that would change when Corey would announce on his TikTok page that he would be hiring voice actors for the series. After a while, he would later have nearly a full cast of characters as shown in this YouTube thumbnail video. Keep in mind, this series was mostly a passion project according to the former staff who worked for him, since everyone mostly participated and voiced in the series with no expectation of compensation whatsoever, which was fine with everyone since everybody had the intention of helping out, solely for the purpose of helping the former fan project gain traction, since most of the team members would advertise the series on their socials, help out with writing the episodes, draw fan art, making background characters for the series, etc. In summary of what I just mentioned, basically everyone worked on this fan project for free and helped out in whatever way possible with no issues whatsoever in the beginning of the server's opening. However, all of that would change when red flags started popping up within a server, and with how said red flags were handled. Remember when I stated all of those warnings at the beginning? Well, like I mentioned, please do proceed with discretion since this next section of the video will get pretty heavy. So, carefully continue watching with discretion. Let's talk about the former Discord server of Milky Way and the Galaxy Girls. The Discord server was like any other server you would expect, minus this one being specifically designed for the series. Or, sort of, as from what I've been told by former members. The former server mostly had a lot of channels, majority being for the series. However, one individual has stated that there were some moments that the server was an absolute mess, especially when it came to writing episodes. The former team member would say the following issues within the channels, such as storyboard channels would be clogged up with endless walls of text and you'd be scrolling for hours just to find the script, which mostly consisted of all the dialogue being pasted onto a storyboard template as shown in this image. Due to the script being set up in this format, this would often lead to lines being left out or leaving some team members being unable to read the text altogether. Storyboards would also end up being unorganized due to constant walls of text separating the boards. Episode progress was mostly shown in a few second clips or just merely a screenshot of the progress. The team members never even remotely viewed the full product of an episode until it got released to the internet, leaving many episodes to have a lot of issues. Most of those issues were misinterpretations of the original storyboard or the storyboard being changed in general. Unnatural dialogue making it sound like the voices have been cut too early or late, and loud music being played over the characters talking, making it difficult to hear them.
do you mean by dummy?
However, issues with the storyboard and progress weren't just the main issues within the server. The main issues would end up revolving around certain team members who would constantly break the server rules, yet Corey did little to almost no intervention in stopping those individuals, let alone give harsher punishments for their severe actions. I also ended up being told that he didn't even let his own moderators do their job when it came to banning Landon. Before I dive into the two individuals, I would like to mention Corey's actions first, just so you could understand how badly he handled situations in his former server before I mention the vile actions of Bianca, Kalina, and Landon. Corey claims Bianca to be a nice person despite screenshots being shown of her sending death threats and sexual harassment towards him, along with the fact that she would guilt-trip Corey even after she was fired from the series due to these threats. However, he would quickly rehire Bianca despite him confessing that he feared Bianca's threats, and that someone else was already going to replace Bianca. But later on, Corey never bothered helping the new voice actor and just reused Bianca's lines without communicating to the replacement whatsoever, leaving the new voice actor in the dark about episode progress constantly, which would end up being a slow but huge issue within the server, as stated earlier that team members were left in the dark about what was being put into an episode. Corey cared more about viewership and Milky Way's voice being different than the safety of his entire crew. This also relates to Bianca's explosive actions, which at the time of Corey showing team members of Bianca's death threats towards him, many members told him to quickly fire her due to her behavior being unacceptable, especially since she had to continue to break a rule within the server, which would end up later being neglected regardless of what happened. However, Corey was hesitant about removing Bianca from the project entirely due to fear of losing viewership and Milky Way's voice sounding different, rather than the safety of himself and his former crew members. Plus, due to Bianca's explosive fights, a team member almost harmed themselves due to being traumatized by Bianca constantly fighting with her coworkers nonstop. The only solution Corey did was constantly muting Bianca, which would be in vain, as when Bianca became unmuted in the server, she would later continue fighting with her coworkers. Which, all of this would eventually end up leading to her being banned as soon as Corey showed screenshots of the death threats that Bianca sent him. However, he would still remain in contact with Bianca despite her actions and his voice actors warning him not to do so, but kept contact with Bianca anyways. Dehumanize the team member / sexualize their voice. Corey would dehumanize one of his team members by comparing them to a character from Daria. He was called out to stop until he ended up going too far by changing that person's username in his server and sent a screenshot to the individual, which obviously made them feel disrespected by what Corey had done, with him getting a harsh talk with one of his staff telling him that it wasn't a funny thing to do, and the individual he was making fun of wasn't laughing and clearly felt disrespected as shown in the screenshot here.
Laughing while crying emoji. I'm gonna imagine I'm talking to Daria.
Okay.
Sorry, redacted.
I'm done here.
Okay.
I'm genuinely pissed right now.
I want to start a discussion with redacted and some of you guys about how I can resolve the conflicts we have on this server. You guys get along great with her, and she gets along with you guys great, but we seem to have a conflict, and I want a rundown of what I can and cannot say to redacted, so the fights can stop. I only want to help out, not hurt anyone, and I just have trouble understanding how she works. I understand that my jokes can be taken to fire, but for redacted, I feel like she can't handle a joke at all, not to assume the worst.
Well, the first thing you've done wrong is assume / imply. Someone can't take a joke. Saying that is on the same level of someone jokingly saying who asked. It's basically like a way of saying I get you're hurt, but it's my joke, so you have no right to be.
Thanks, I will keep a note of that. I spoke to redacted and we agreed it was Daria that ticked her off, but I wasn't sure.
Then she did tell you, even if it was late?
It wasn't clear to me.
All I'm going to say about this is that we talked about this in private messaging. If you want to keep addressing this issue, go ahead. You can even go ahead and share screenshots of the convo if you want to keep discussing it with everyone. All the information and explanation is in there.
I have just been in a lot of fear lately. I'm not only in another conflict with redacted, but I'm gonna lose redacted real soon. I don't know how to fix everything.
Icon, I'm gonna say this as an actor and not as a friend. This doesn't seem like the place to handle it, especially since you're not talking it out with the person who was affected by it.
What I thought the problem was is that Daria is a moody character who often talks sarcastically, and maybe she was being offended when I said to her I will pretend to talk to Daria, and redacted might feel that she is being called moody and sarcastic. Like, of course I acknowledge you as human beings, but when I call you by your voice roles, I mean it in a roleplay fashion.
Not everyone is into the roleplay fashion.
I won't call out names, but everyone until I spoke to Redacted was fine with it.
It doesn't really matter. If Redacted is not fine with it, then respect that. Use it with others who are fine with it, but respect the person who isn't fine with it.
I respect it, but she didn't tell me she was upset by it.
Have you asked her about it? It's better to think. It's not that she can't take a joke. I just need to figure out what happened to make someone upset.
That's why I want to have this conversation. She's the only one I know who is not willing to hide her feelings.
And that's good. That means she wants you to know, because hopefully you can learn from it on how to change one maybe not good habit. I get that. Some people never mean harm.
I'm just having a hard time trying to say things properly.
But it can hurt either way.
I understand.
Corey would also then make this individual uncomfortable by stating that their voice was quote-unquote too sexy for a character in the series, which they stated made them uncomfortable. Later on, it would be found out that Corey ended up complaining to his friend Landon about his VA not being able to quote-unquote take a joke when the joke in question was clearly disrespectful and tone-deaf. Instead of bringing these issues up to the person he was disrespecting, he would disrespect them further by calling them a jackass, and most likely the same thing for anyone who agreed with them. Upon speaking bad about his team member, he would threaten Langdon to not let anyone know, which would later end up failing quickly, leading to some team members leaving after the information had been exposed.
Recently she got pissed off because her personality reminded me of Daria, so I jokingly said I'm gonna pretend I'm talking to Daria. You know what pissed her off? She thought she wasn't being recognized as a person. Like, what the fuck is that? Yes, really, and I have no defense. Everyone else sides with her, and she acts like a jackass sometimes. Now let this be a warning. If you tell her I said any of this, you're in a lot of trouble. Hey, what did I just tell you?
Absolutely. Hate that I gotta start a conversation like this with you. But what did you tell Landon and Emma about me? Because I'm dying over here. Skull face. Emojis.
Don't fucking talk to me.
But you don't understand, she was asking questions and I thought she was another person. I'm sorry, I didn't know Redacted was Redacted since her username is different in the server. I'm sorry, please, I love you, surprised emoji. The only thing he can do is cyberbully, so just ignore his threats.
She?
Sorry, I keep forgetting.
Look, I'm pissed off right now.
Okay, I will leave you alone.
I told you not to tell her and you did.
She was snooping around.
What?
Where she didn't belong.
She's a voice actress on my team.
So you think you have to lose her from your team?
Others might get mad at me for saying that if Redacted spreads it around.
What would you do if she did? I have been betrayed.
I have been betrayed.
I do want to clarify this screenshot a little further by saying that although Langdon was involved in this situation and he did the right thing by telling someone what Corey told him, this does not make Langdon innocent in this situation, since Langdon is also problematic himself, and like Bianca, he was also a menace to everyone, including the VAs he targeted and one person he would end up publicly harassing on their Twitter page, which would end up leading to this individual to suffer a panic attack due to Langdon posting the following tweets onto their page.
Wait, what the fuck is wrong with you? Oh my god. If Hopping Icon saw this, he would freak out and probably kick you from the Discord. Die. Nope, nope, nope. You would what? Fuck her like the maniac you are for making MWGG gore art and MWGG aged up art. I'm just not interested in your likings. I wouldn't want to be friends with someone who made gore art using Scratch, which is against the guidelines. I'm sorry, goodbye.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I could have reported you for using Scratch in the wrong intended ways that goes against the terms of service, okay, a no gore, but I won't.
That's not in Scratch.
Oh, I can see now.
Plus, if you don't like gore, then don't look at it.
I still can't forgive you. I don't want violent friends. They say you are what you do.
Kay.
Well, I better get to bed and I hope those images don't disturb my dreams.
Sure, good night.
Redacted, so good night.
Try not to think about them and his sweet dreams. Night. Plus, I didn't know you hated furries since you said die to one of my fursuit posts.
Regarding Langdon, Corey barely took action within the first few incidents that Langdon has done in his server, as well as allowing his mods to ban Langdon as he would constantly be let back into the server despite being banned or kicked. Langdon would also target a voice actor by falsely calling them a pedophile when this person was joking with another team member. However, Corey did not criticize Langdon about him falsely calling someone a pedophile and did nothing in the situation and only told him to stop and nothing more.
Oh no, we got a kid simp called a pedophile squad.
What? I don't simp for redacted.
No, you simp for redacted.
The fuck? I don't simp for redacted, also I have a boyfriend.
Are you a boy?
Landon, stop please.
No, I'm a demigirl. I was replying to redacted because she was making a joke about how I didn't mention Venus.
Corey additionally became a bystander when Langdon was showing his transphobia towards the team members, and once again, Corey did nothing and defended Langdon by using the "he's my friend" excuse, which deeply offended many people in his server who are members of the LGBTQ+ community and are under the transgender umbrella.
So you're a girl, okay?
No, I'm a demigirl.
I don't care.
No, that's not what demi means. It means we don't fully identify with being a girl, so we go by she/they.
Okay, are we good? Pats your head, great.
Another voice actor would also be targeted for using tone indicators, but just like with the situation of transphobia, Corey did nothing but defend Langdon despite the crude hate speech that was targeted towards his own voice actors.
Yeah, but it still makes no sense who would use it out of context. It's a simple sentence that some people use every day.
People find tone indicators helpful for a context of a message.
Now, if you said something that would sound bad out of context, then okay, fair point. Yeah, I've never seen them until now and it looks like a jaggerbold mess. Maybe they should have taught me your typing lessons in school or something XD.
Dude, just educate yourself on tone indicators, and even if it still doesn't make sense, you could at least do the bare minimum of educating yourself.
I will buy. I don't care anymore.
Not his friend. I'm not required to accept his apology either.
I know, but
And you saying his apology is really good doesn't change my fucking opinion.
I can tell that you were never supposed to be a voice actor. Really, everyone who left because of this is really mean. Maybe we should let the teens work.
The only reason Corey finally took action to permanently ban Langdon was when one of his friends got harassed by Langdon. Out of all the incidents that involved Langdon, he only took actions for the harassment and not Langdon outwardly disrespecting somebody by falsely calling them a pedophile, dehumanizing their gender identity, arguing with someone over tone indicators, and his genuinely disrespectful behavior towards the voice actors of the series. Yet Corey only took action for someone getting harassed by Langdon, yet for the other incidences, he did nothing but just tell Langdon to stop and became a bystander with those actions. However, when Corey sent a screenshot of him telling Langdon that he'll cut ties with him, he would later be called out by still associating himself with Langdon in his comments, and this was Corey's defense when he was called out by one of his team members.
I hope I know this will sound stupid, but I don't want to sound like I'm jumping to conclusions, but I'm afraid I am having some suspicions of you. This is your only chance to prove me and everyone else who may be having suspicions like me wrong. But I must ask this, and no, I don't want to read any excuses. I only want a yes or a no from you. With that said, do you and Landon still have some form of communication, despite the fact that you told us you were cutting him off?
That's a very good claim. Unfortunately, I blocked him recently because, well, he's pissing all my friends off and I didn't want people to hate me for talking to him. I heavily limit interaction with him. The most I usually do nowadays is reply to one of his comments on a video of mine.
Okay.
I tried many times, but at this point I can't take it anymore. I'm pretty sure his content related to just bribe me into talking to him.
I see. I'm only asking because I saw his now deleted community post. I even messaged the person he targeted apologizing / warning them about him. I'll send the screenshot. Hello, apologies for the sudden message, but I saw your community post regarding user Landon and Emma, and I can reassure you this is not the first time they've publicly insulted people on the internet. Again, I apologize for the sudden message and this offensive insult by this individual.
Oh, you're good. Thank you for letting me know.
You're welcome.
But yes, I do interact with him still, but not on Discord, and rather reply to a comment of his. I'm well aware of his behavior, and I feel horrible for everyone who came in contact with him.
I see.
Detective redacted. But yeah, let me tell you how I feel in my point of view. I didn't hate him as bad as everyone because I wasn't aware of what he did. I was his most favorite person to talk to. In fact, sometimes I felt bad when he was insulted. He may be a hopping iCart sort of hack for Mario Kart. DS and people despised it, but it's not easy to make stuff like that. In fact, it wasn't until I played Mario Kart PC where I found out how immature he was. He was confused and threw a fit. I was shocked. Then he started jumping around servers I'm part of and was throwing fits there too, and that embarrassed me. He was banned from all those places, so yeah, my friendship with him is unsafe and I have to stop talking to him. And now he's going as far as insulting certain groups.
I think it's fair that an awareness should be announced about him just in case, for those who don't know what he did in the server and are warning to avoid him.
It's just he loved everything of mine. I couldn't resist. I never met someone who loved everything I did.
I am aware and I know that it's something special, but at the same time it is a risk to associate yourself with someone who harasses/target others.
Very true.
Thumbs up emote plus when you do associate yourself with people like that. That will make them think that they have defenders/sympathizers.
Yeah, I defended him once, but not anymore. I can't stand him. He messaged me hundreds of times a day, flooding the DM with long-ass videos I never plan to watch.
I see.
You don't see, but you will, as in Lemma send the clip just for laughs.
Screenshot here is Corey stating that he would kick someone out of his server if they didn't have a proper explanation as to why they kept unboosting the server instead of being worried about the actual series itself. Corey also ended up getting really defensive about the boost despite two of his moderators telling him to stop and providing their own explanations as to why the server boosts weren't really necessary at all. Corey would continue regardless of being called out by his moderation team. He would later end up making excuses for himself when a moderator finally had enough of him worrying about the server boost and said that they rightfully don't care about them. However, this would end up causing Corey to go off on his moderator and list the following in his screenshot. Based on the screenshot, there is absolutely no way for anyone to excuse themselves like this. Simply someone telling you to stop should be enough for you to realize what you're doing is incorrect. However, Corey would go against this by constantly blaming his autism for every single incident that happened within the server. I also haven't briefly clarified enough about the Bianca situation, but another reason why Corey was defensive about Bianca was because she is also autistic as well as Landon, which he clarified that he has OCD when he targeted someone over tone indicators. I do want to state that I do not mean to be offensive in any way when I state this. However, it doesn't matter whether or not these individuals are neurodivergent or not. These actions are not excusable for any reason at all. Since one, Corey and Bianca are adults, minus Bianca being much older than Corey and Landon being younger than both of them. Despite Landon claiming that he was a high school graduate, which based on the way he behaves on the internet, I have a hard time believing it. Especially considering the fact that I have done some small research into this individual only to find that Landon has a history of doing stuff like this, and being called out for it. While getting some further insight as to what happened in the series, I was told that there was a prom episode in production, which, critique-wise, it does seem a little bit too early on within the short season to automatically include a prom episode. While yes, I'm aware some series do show prom episodes early, however most of those times prom episodes are shown later on after the audience gets to know the characters on screen better, as well as their relationship statuses with other characters. Regardless, I don't want to unintentionally turn this section into a critique rather than stick to the topic. At the time of the prom episode, there was already an episode being put into production. However, no continuation was done despite the storyboard being published online by Corey. The first thing that was being made was the script along with designing prom outfits for the cast, which will be displayed on screen. Do keep in mind, all of that work was gone into designing the outfits was being done by one person and one person alone. Although the individual luckily received help from moderators, a couple of team members, and extra help outside of the server, however, Corey contributed little to almost none of the production within the making of the prom episode. The former scriptwriter was barely giving any helpful criticism by Corey at all, rather than him arguing with the scriptwriter that he wanted to include a fat-phobic joke. Despite the scriptwriter being uncomfortable in arguing against the joke, Corey insisted and stated that he wanted to see his type of humor and "this is my show, not My Little Pony," which obviously offended the former scriptwriter. This said information would also offend and embarrass the former voice actor of Venus to automatically drop from their roles as soon as this information had been discovered. The former VA has apologized to the scriptwriter for unknowingly voicing an offensive joke that Corey knew was disrespectful. With permission from the voice actor themselves, I will be providing a voice clip of the quote-unquote joke they ended up voicing before the information had been discovered. "Son, do you think I'd look a bit pudgy if I wore this?" "What? I look like a fat cow!" Moving forward, Corey would then later disrespect his former scriptwriter further by not offering any criticism upon the designs of the Zodiac Gang's prom dresses. Most of you may not know who the Zodiac Gang is, so I'll be giving a short but a brief summary as to what the Zodiac Gang is. The Zodiac Gang was a concept created by a deactivated DeviantArt user XX Equestria Nova XX, which was just a colored sketch of the zodiac signs in the Milky Way and the Galaxy Girls universe. Instead of being personifications of planets, as their name states, they are the personification of the zodiac signs. but have the role as the antagonist of the former fan-made series. A colorized version of the concept would later be made by another DeviantArt user by the name of Lin Q Wolf 57. Keep in mind, these characters are not official as they are just OCs from Milky Way and the Galaxy Girls, along with a description provided for each Zodiac character.
Hey guys, Editor SP here. I want to correct myself on the Zodiac Gang portion of this video. So the Zodiac Gang was actually created by blogger user Retneck, who posted the Zodiac Gang sketches on January 15th of 2012 along with a couple other sketches. I ended up doing further research right after this section was already recorded and attempted to find the original sketch. Since the supposed DeviantArt account was inactive, so apologizes for the misinformation on this part. The only information I can bring upon Retneck is that this individual hasn't been active since 2015 and has since left their blogger account abandoned with a deactivated Tumblr account link as shown in this post.
Now let's go back to the topic. The former team member would be designing Pisces' prom dress. However, instead of Corey giving some helpful advice as to what could be added, he mostly made fun of how goofy looking the character appeared, which led to another moderator having to step in and call out Corey once again, and thankfully giving the former scriptwriter helpful critique, despite Corey never apologizing for the insult targeted towards the only person struggling to work on the episode. Eventually, the script for the episode ended up turning into a complete mess, despite it being completed. There were many issues with the script which I am unable to show due to the script being ultimately lost. But from what I could gather from the recollection of the former staff who helped out with the script was that there were so many things happening all at once that while reading the script, one member actually got a bit lost while reading, and also felt bad for causing the script to be an even bigger mess. It was understandable considering the fact that the director was barely present to help out his own team when his assistance was needed heavily. Upon the script's completion, the scriptwriter would suggest that a storyboard should be created in order to prevent confusion and interpret the story correctly. However, Corey refused to the idea of storyboards for the episode, which would later be a really foolish decision on his part. The reason why this decision is foolish is because when you have a script for an animated series, you almost always should have storyboards ready at all times. Even if you think storyboards are not needed, let me reassure that if you don't have a storyboard, life would be absolute hell for you, especially if there are people who want to try and help you out with the animation parts. But you wouldn't be able to receive help if you don't have a storyboard to provide. No storyboard equals no communication with the animators, let alone any extra help. However, there was no team of animators helping out with the series due to Corey being the only person doing the animation, since all the animation would be made on a program called Scratch. Occasionally there would be other animators, however, only smaller roles were fulfilled during the animation bits. This would also end up being the main reason multiple members, including the former scriptwriter, quit the team due to Corey offering little to no help and outright insulting his former scriptwriter. Yet as soon as the members left, he quickly changed the situation to make it seem like he was the victim despite what truly happened, and would later get upset with no longer having access to the script, and even allegedly requesting another team member to try and contact the former scriptwriter just so he could get access to the script? What the hell? Which, thankfully, the member did not do so, rather than feel uncomfortable to the idea despite the members who left warning Corey to not use the script, let alone their OCs, nor mention their names around this production.
Betrayed, but it's not just Milky Way and the Galaxy Girls this time. For the MWGG situation, I deleted the server. I can't manage it anymore. Enough people have began to hate me, and now I lost my good friend Redacted who voiced Venus and Moon, and calling it a waste of time, which is a straight up lie considering they had a lot of fun in the server in the past. At this point it has become more torture for me rather than comeuppance. I deserve better. I've said sorry to them, and they told me to fuck off. The day Unofficial Milky Way died, this is one of the worst possible days of my life. One moment I'm having a nice server, the next thing I know a victim posts and everyone hates me. It's a huge struggle for me to communicate sometimes, and I just wish I knew what was right or wrong to say. Forgive me, Landon, for making it sound like a threat. Update on my mental health. I just want to inform everyone about the effects on my mental health ever since the long-lasting June 16th controversy began. So, yes, I'm still very upset with the people on the team that left me and now hate me. At work, if it ever pops into my head, I start to drag and feel down. But I'm also mad at some of them, because what they said felt way more extreme than it should have been. I get that they were mad, so it's understandable. But I feel like they started to enjoy betraying me and making my life miserable. Now, I don't want to come off as the right one completely. There are things they said to me that were true. It's not nice to talk about others negatively behind their back, especially if they trust you. When they ranted, they said a lot of things that were not true. For example, they said I would punish them if they were to help out, which isn't true. In fact, I would be overjoyed by that. Additionally, they say I treat my team like shit, but it was only one person, and she did not follow what I told her to do. Use tone indicators, and she refused. And because of that, I never got to know how she felt, and she hates me now. In fact, I tried to talk to them like I was an ordinary member, and not the owner of Unofficial Milky Way. I just wanted to feel included myself. In fact, I don't even try to be mean, annoying at all. I don't want to say autism is excusable, because it's not. People don't alert me when I am, and if they do, they might not be saying it in a way that's clear enough to remember. Otherwise, I would say I am the wrong one for not remembering. They also hated the decisions I made. They wanted people to be kicked out of the server as soon as they started acting weird, but I was more caring and willing to give a chance. They were not happy. In fact, the server heavily lacked moderation, so I asked for people to help out. Nobody did at the time. And when I promoted one by my own choice, and they accused me of doing so because I can't do my own job. In fact, I've gotten in trouble at work many times just for checking in on the server to make sure all goes well. Chaos tends to happen when I work or sleep, and to make matters worse, they have went on to make their own animation server called the Better Ones. Better. After horribly ranting me, making a hate Twitter exposing me, and betraying me, you think you're better than me. Congratulations for ruining my life. Bravo. You convinced more people to turn against me than you thought you would. By the way, nothing on the Hop Files Twitter is really that serious. All they did was bring up the times I posted a bikini fanart, pointed out tracing, which makes them hypocrites because one of them traced another fanart and I called her out for it, but everyone called it a coincidence and pointed out fart jokes. They're only doing it for the sake of my attention. So yeah, I'm still very upset, mad for what has recently happened with my server, and even if I was disrespectful here and there, I feel like I deserve better, because I'm still upset to this day. Because of them, I have no motivation to animate or post MWGG content at this time.
Due to the members quitting the team, this would lead to Hopping Icon painting one of his former scriptwriters as evil when he was simply requested to take down a video and deemed it as a threat. Which, compared to the evidence I've seen about Bianca threatening Corey, first of all, asking someone to have a video they heavily contributed to taken down isn't really much of a threat, rather than just a simple request that should have been respected. Yet, Corey failed to do so, which supposedly led to him exposing the person's username on his community posts and videos despite being told not to.
Hey, Hopping. Redacted wishes for Venus's dream to be taken down.
Sorry, it's not gonna happen, and who's Redacted? Redacted's dead name may not be with me anymore, but she has absolutely no control over me. I refuse to take her episode down, as I feel it's just absolutely unnecessary to do. I would much rather her just move on already and stop making me feel bad about myself. I've tried to explain, and all I get is a fuck off. I doubt she'll admit it, but even though she doesn't like me now, she definitely had fun with me when we worked together on this project. This is something I wanted her to remember in the future. I want her to be proud of this, not upset.
Redacted's dead name is redacted. She doesn't want to be referred to by that name, and I think she said so before.
Oh yips, later today I wish to talk to her about this, because I'm not taking it down.
I'll let her know.
It's just after she posts hate about me, threatens me if I use Imagindella, and leaves me to join a server that is claimed better, and especially signs the fuck off post. I'm not gonna listen to that. I just want this to be over with again. I'm sick and tired of her being pissed about this when it happened a month ago. What I'm saying is there is no reason to take episode 2 down. She did a great job writing it, and people love it. I have no reason to remove it just because she is against me now. Let her know by 5 p.m. for her, and 6 p.m. I want to speak to her.
She doesn't want to speak to you at this point. She asks if you could take her name off of it at the very least.
I didn't think so. Also, no, I will not. I don't understand why she's so ashamed of it. It's my most favorite episode, and I'm not gonna sit here and listen to her opposes. She has not listened to me, and I refuse to listen to her.
I don't think she's ashamed of it. I think she just doesn't want to be associated with at this point. She said she didn't want to do this, but she'll file a report if you don't at least take it down by tomorrow.
Bruh, that's a threat. She refused to when I asked to take down her hate post about Her report is probably not going to do anything. She seriously needs to chill out. All she is trying to do is make me feel worse than I already am. Just to clarify, redacted, you have no involvement in this. I'm not taking my anger out on you one bit. It's redacted who's just trying to make my life miserable. Redacted's just going too far.
What?
I don't want any of you to interfere, please.
Okay, I'll leave. Sorry.
No worries.
Take care.
Hop technically redacted wrote / made the storyboards. I don't want to sound offensive, but if she doesn't want to be associated with the episode, then it's best to just respect that. But if you don't, then that's fine. It's your choice.
The episode is official now. I'm not gonna take it down because she wants me to know. Matter what, it counts as an episode. Whether she was involved or not, she has no copyright over the work and thus cannot report or sue me for it. I feel better knowing for a fact she did apologize.
May I ask why she hates you?
I would much rather keep it personal.
That's perfectly alrighty.
This is a farewell. As someone on the spectrum, I have a really difficult time. Knowing what I can and cannot say to people today was the worst possible day of my life. You know, when you have this one person you feel upset about and you wish to talk to about him/her to a friend. Said friend at least claims my feelings for said person. That makes me uncomfortable to tell the direct victim, who proceeded to tell my whole server. I wish not to mention names. Let me use Andy as a placeholder's name. Andy is the victim that I had uncomfortable feelings for. Now the community is pissed off at me for how I talked about Andy behind their backs. I lost some of my team and I might end up losing more in the future. Another big cause is that they think I don't acknowledge them enough, which I heavily understand. I try my best to give everyone a welcoming feel to my server, but people dislike how I don't seem to take things seriously. For instance, Jambi the Galaxy Boy is one of our haters. I kicked him out. I think it's no big deal, but they wanted me to proceed to tell the entire server to not let him in. Honestly, I've wanted to leave before. There are situations where I have blatantly stood by you knowing you were going to screw up, but I stood by and watched the world burn and blamed someone else for the fire. You are no adult, you are no figure, and you are certainly no good boss or producer. You're a lying, manipulating, backstabbing little bitch who thinks you can burst into tears and make people magically love you all over again. Well, guess what? Cinderella, no fairy godmother, is gonna come fix your problems. We have had it, and I hope that others will stand alongside me when I say I quit. You've made me hate this series. One absolutely despise this series, but I stayed because I wanted to help and be a main character finally. Now I want it all gone. Honestly, I've had it after this whole interaction, and I can fully say to the highest degree that I'm not staying shut up about this. Hopping Icon has disrespected not only me but to other group members that I'm aware of. Not only have I felt this coming for a while, but before this whole Landon situation even came to light, I had kept my mouth shut because of how bad I felt for Hopping. But this is where I crossed the line. Honestly, if you had said anything about me or surrounding me in general, I wouldn't have cared, but the fact that not only you have promised me and redacted not to pull this kind of shit again, only to do it when someone has belittled and bullied us because of something you said, but also because your actions before have hit me hard. I have done everything to make you respect me because of how much I respect you, but apparently that's not enough. I have put hours of work into my storyboards, and yet you still treat your coworkers like shit. I'm sorry, but I cannot stand by any longer and watch you belittle and encourage the harm of people who I have grown to call my friends. This is a farewell. The fandom hates me.
He even claims to have kept this situation personal to another commenter when asked about why the former scriptwriter was deemed as hateful. Yet, Corey claims to keep it personal despite the community post stating otherwise. Which, I do want to point out, it is never okay to expose a person's username under any circumstances, as that is just absolute immaturity and just asking for people to send harassment to an innocent person who had to endure an awful workplace, with absolute disrespect being thrown at them constantly. After the team members left, Corey would then create a public community post framing himself as innocent and painting the members who left as cold and heartless, blaming them for the cancellation of an episode when in reality, based off the information I was given and now showing all of you, now know that really wasn't the case. I managed to get 4 more screenshots donated by these members, and I will be showing the community and the original message side by side so you guys can get the full picture behind his community post that Corey himself wasn't even remotely able to provide. This is due to him having a habit of taking things out of context and phrasing them in a way to make himself appear innocent, and the ones who are actually innocent appear bad.
And to anyone who said this is new actions of his, it's not. We've just been waiting a long fucking time to bring it up because we hoped he would get better and he never fucking did.
Landon betrayed me.
Icon, betrayal or not, your actions are appalling, and none of us deserve the way you treat us, especially with the same fucking respect we treat you.
But I do treat you with respect. I told Landon not to say anything, and he proceeds. 2.
But you don't. You talk badly about us behind our backs all the time. And I know this isn't a one-time thing because you tried to talk badly about another member to me once. Honestly, I've had it after this whole interaction, and I can fully say to the highest degree that I'm not staying shut up about this. Hopping Icon has disrespected not only me, but to other group members that I'm aware of. Not only have I felt this coming for a while, but before this whole Landon situation even came to light, I had kept my mouth shut because of how bad I felt for Hopping. But this is where I crossed the line. Honestly, if you had said anything about me or surrounding me in general, I wouldn't have cared. But the fact that not only you have promised me and redacted not to pull this kind of shit again, only to do it when someone has belittled and bullied us because of something you said, but also because your actions before have hit me hard. I have done everything to make you respect me because of how much I respect you, but apparently that's not enough. I have put hours of work into my scripts and storyboards, and yet you still treat your own co-workers like shit. I'm sorry, but I cannot stand by any longer and watch you belittle and encourage the harm of people who I have grown to call my friends. You do not. You treat me with respect because you're afraid of losing us as voice actors. I had to bug you to get accommodations met, not have my role taken from me, and fucking convince you not to let known bad people into the group. And you dare say you respect me? Fucking ridiculous. We're commodities to you, and you do not care about us. You talk about us behind our backs and don't help us until all of us badger you about an issue. Not to mention the fucking hours of shit we have to deal with because of you. I'm surprised you haven't even considered paying us due to all of this shit. We've dealt with drama for you. We've stood up for you. And what do you give us in return? You betray us. You literally made me a fucking mod because you can't do your own job. And then when we bring up our complaints, you go offline.
Because I'm busy as hell.
Not only that, but you have done things that made us physically and emotionally uncomfortable. And when we try to explain our discrepancies to you, you blatantly ignore us.
Look, I would like to talk, but I'm an adult who has to deal with work.
You can't say this is Landon's fault. Just has been a long time coming. You constantly treat members badly and acknowledge how we would feel if we found out. You know exactly what consequences would arise from it. Oh, really? You're an adult? Because an adult wouldn't bully his own coworkers. You don't act like an adult. You act like a fucking child. A child who uses the same excuses every single time. Not to mention I'm fucking 16 and I've done more shit on this server than you have. I've checked in with Redacted to see how the storyboards are going. I've been nervously wanting to check in with other voice actors to see if they needed help with lines, even though I was scared you'd punish me for it. Not only that, but you get mad at me when I don't think your joke is funny because it has to do with fat phobia, which you of all people know I have an uncomfortable feeling towards. I hope that you don't think that just because you have work right now, this conversation is going away. We'll be here, and I hope everyone else can realize that the way you treat people is wrong. You made fun of Redacted for their dedication to the series and their work, which just proves how little you care about this and us. Not to mention people will back us up. We can and will leave. You cannot just magically guilt trip us and make all of this disappear. Not to mention that you tried talking badly about another user because they were too emotional to me, the one who you also labeled as too emotional. We will find ways to let everyone know, even if you replace us, we will show everyone how you've acted and treated us. Not to mention the multiple times you yourself have said that you are emotionally unstable and get angry easily. Yet you belittle someone who has supposed issues and make fun of them for having the said issues. I'm sorry, but the fact that you have the audacity to look down upon us and treat us like playthings is a disgusting waste of power, especially considering how much people in this server trust and look up to you. Actions you have done, stuff you had said, the ways you treated us all unacceptable and have made us mad, uncomfortable, and feel awful. And we are completely tired of it. And if you try coming after one of us, because we're in small numbers, we will make sure you come down with us. You barely give us any updates. You brush off things until it gets to its worst. You have made situations worse after we've specifically said not to do it. And frankly, the fact that you think you can just run away from this by hiding as invisible is fucking pathetic. You've made me hate this series. I absolutely despise this series. But I stayed because I wanted to help and be a main character finally. Now I want it all gone. I implore everyone to check their friendships and make sure it's with the right people. Because you are absolutely two-faced, dude. And it's not the first time it has happened, and I doubt it will be the last. You treat your fellow creators dismissively. You treat their interests horribly. And you just don't seem to care about how others feel or what they do for you. It's not even sad at this point, just disappointing. Honestly, Icon, I've wanted to leave before. There are situations where I have blatantly stood by you, knowing you were going to screw up. But I stood by and watched the world burn, and blamed someone else for the fire. You are no adult. You are no figure, and you are certainly no good boss or producer. You're a lying, manipulating, backstabbing little bitch who thinks you can burst into tears and make people magically love you all over again. Well, guess what, Cinderella? No fairy godmother is gonna come fix your problems. We have had it, and I hope the others will stand alongside me when I say, I quit. I quit too. I'm done with this. I don't care if you get someone to replace me. The emotional and physical draining I have taken from this server is enough to have made me scream and cry myself to sleep. In fact, bring Bianca back. Let her give you a taste of what you gave others. I've had to lie to my mother about the shit you've caused. I quit as well. This environment is fantastic when it's the ones who actually do things. But when it's you, it's horrible. And you know what? If you have such fucking strong opinions on things you do and don't like, write your own damn scripts and go fuck yourself. Redacted is right. Definitely bring Bianca back. Then you'll have to worry about what one person wants and not how everyone else feels. Just like the good old days. Don't even think about using my fucking voice recordings in this next episode. I will make sure your video gets taken down if you do. I'm not being associated with this project anymore. Have fun.
The next images are Corey's responses to each message that the former members left.
I would never punish you. That would have helped so much. I would have thanked you a lot. I would never get mad at you for asking the others about the project. Please don't be afraid of me. I'm not gonna punish anyone for no good reason. What I say is just the wrong use of words. Also, what joke about fat phobia? I did because I did not watch what I said. What? This is my first time ever owning and managing. I've never faced these challenges before, so I didn't know how to react. No, I made you a mod because you helped me out. You gave great advice, and I thought you were very fit for the role. I have a job. This is guilt tripping. Redacted. Please don't leave. I will be a much better person. Please, you made me happy. Why must you go? I'm way more mature than that. This is 8-year-old me. 18-year-old me understands situations a whole lot better. I only treated you badly. And that doesn't mean I don't feel horrible. You're not a bad person to me. You're misunderstood by me. Wow. Wow. Did I ask about age? Also, I thought maybe this position would make you feel amazing. I thought maybe you'd love to feel in charge of the project. You wrote me 2 episodes, and I find both amazing. Go ahead, do it. What the fuck? I don't. No, I care about everyone. The fact they want to be here with me makes me feel very special. These people want to learn MWGG with me. They want to help me on the project. Why would I ever look down on someone? Maybe because I'm afraid to upset them. Stop. I'm not that bad of a person. I feel like you hate me just as bad as Kalina, if not worse. But for real, I'm never thinking about Redacted like this ever again. I want to learn more about her.
Now that you guys know some background information regarding Corey and Landon's actions, along with how these actions have affected multiple team members within the server, we will now be moving on to Bianca Kalina and her distastefully gross actions that she committed during her time in the former server. Especially since I've only mentioned her actions and haven't shown them yet, since I wanted to save them for her section in this video. Just like the first section, this one is heavy discretion advised. Especially since Bianca Kalina is a grown adult, currently 24 years old at the time of writing the script and recording this video. However, Bianca would be 23 years old when she would target Corey, who was 17, and many other members in the server. Like Corey, Bianca is also another YouTube content creator alongside with Landon. Although she appears to be kind and friendly, her actions within the server tell another story, especially when she would tell Corey to K-word himself and tell him to sexually kiss another voice actor being a server, both of those individuals being minors upon the sexual harassment threat. However, not only was Corey being targeted, but Bianca would continuously target another voice actor on the team, and yet Corey would do almost nothing but try to mute Bianca every time she caused trouble. Which clearly did not work, as Bianca continued to harass other members and make the server a very hostile environment because of her fights. Knowing all this, Corey decided to keep her regardless, due to him being biased by her voice work and fear that her voice would be different than taking the safety of his crew into consideration, which would later be found out that he clearly doesn't respect his crew at all, like Bianca had done so, as well as yet continued to guilt-trip Corey, even after she was fired from the project.
Bianca reached out, she's crying her eyes out, poor thing.
I don't mean to sound rude, but poor thing, nothing. She sent death threats and made people feel unsafe/unwell.
Yeah, but I still respect Bianca in ways. Like she was the first to audition, I don't want Bianca to be remembered as a complete asshole.
But Icon, she made herself out like that. It's her fault because of the shitty actions she did. I may seem rude, but I hate when people who do abusive actions get sympathy. You can kick me if you like, 'cause I know I'm being very outspoken. I just don't think she deserves sympathy for the stuff she's done, even if she is crying.
No, you're not being rude for real, you have a good point. Maybe a bit of a vent, but I understand how you feel.
And if she's saying things like this to you, about all people, she needs to understand this.
Okay, should I keep it private for let everyone know?
I think you should let everyone know in the server, but only keep it in the server unless people on the channel start asking about the recast. And if they ask about it, just be as nonchalant about it as possible, since technically she's broken rule number for multiple times. Dang, I know how you feel, dude.
I don't mean to get excited, but with Bianca gone, I have a feeling Redacted might want to come back. She was the reason she quit Saturn's role. Now that the threat is removed, and we're still on good terms, who knows? That's why I banned her for a week. At that point she literally snapped like, dude, it's just a week. I even provoked it early. I mean, no bias, never spoke here since.
That's the point, man. I think this is where you, as the creator, need to get rid of her. This has happened on multiple occasions, and she has been mean to multiple members multiple times, not to mention the multitude of times that she has legitimately just been rude to you, and rude to her own co-actors.
I'm scared. I want to rid of her, but I'm worried the viewers will go down in flames. Since Milky is the main character, it's more shocking to recast her than anyone else.
I get it, man. This exact thing has happened to me before. But as much as you want to worry about her, you need to also worry about your voice actors and yourself.
Bianca is irreplaceable, which is the problem.
What do you mean?
Her voice is so good, and she really likes helping out, but at the same time she threatens the server.
Dude, I think she crossed the line when she sent you. I wanna choke the living shit out of you.
I understand her because she has autism. I go through moments like she does, so I just try to be as nice as possible to her. I feel like she's lonely.
Dude, I get you're trying to be nice, but that's inexcusable. I also have autism, and I also have moments like these. But just because she's a really good voice actor and you feel bad for her doesn't mean she isn't accountable for her actions.
You know what, you're a jerk, Corey, a big heartless jerk. I don't give a fuck if you have autism like me. You made the right decision of banning me from Discord. I want to choke the living shit out of you. I doubt everyone missed me. I might unblock you soon, but I doubt that you'll let me back in the server. Just promise me one thing.
What?
Don't make me cry ever again.
Yes, I won't make her cry ever again. If I have to tell her something, and she gets upset, I didn't do it to make her cry.
Yeah, no. I'm pretty sure you should just block her at this point. She's being really condescending.
I think she's bribing me.
Cut her off. I know we're like, on your ass a lot about her, but you'll never be through with the drama unless you cut her off. Like, for good.
Blocked for no reason by Bianca on Instagram. Shrug emote.
Trust me, it's not for no reason. When this stuff goes on, and you make such a big mistake when you cut off most people associated with it, especially if you try to expose her, which, I mean, you probably wouldn't do, but there's always a chance.
I'll make the best of it. We still interact on DeviantArt.
It's always a weird situation. Sometimes they cut you off all the way, and sometimes they leave open ends of communication just in case. It all depends.
Despite multiple team members warning Corey to cut ties with Bianca, he refused to do so out of believing that she is a nice person and that he felt bad for her, despite what she told him in his DeviantArt DMs. I have already mentioned this earlier when talking about Corey, and it is relevant to the Bianca situation. When Bianca was fired, another person was given her role. However, Corey never bothered helping them out when this individual stated that they couldn't read the script due to how it was formatted. Yet, instead of sending a typed-up version of the script, Corey only directed the person to just look at the storyboard, as if that was going to be helpful. Not only that, Corey had also kept this individual out of the loop during production, almost constantly causing this individual to miss out on other auditions outside of the server. Yet, Corey just presumes that the person would still have a chance to get a role regardless if it was turned down in the first place.
It's frustrating. I need to be, kept in the loop.
Real life is more important than this.
I am not saying tell me to drop everything to voice actor, but small updates that keep me in the loop since I can't always check the spoilers channel. It also doesn't give much progress just cause it's a lot of episodes at once, which is understandable.
Sure, yeah, I can do that.
Anyways, I'll try calling the director to see if I can get even a role as a swing.
Good luck.
The issues is I was never told, hey, you don't voice her in this episode, and so I turned down a good opportunity.
You had to go when the story was written. You're here now, and everything has been done already, but Milky doesn't even appear physically, just voice cameos, so it's your choice. Is it too late to rejoin the musical?
I was never told you were still using Bianca's voice lines, however, so, you can use Bianca's lines again. That's not what I'm mad about. I'm just upset that because I'm not really kept in the loop, even when I come back, I now can't get into the musical. Musicals castings are final. I can't even be an understudy because I was under the assumption I would be getting the episode 4 script to record lines. So it's mainly I'm upset at miscommunication on my end.
This will be the last episode Bianca voices. I promise that you will voice in the birthday episode.
Oof, alright, damn it. Now I'm a little, frustrated just because I had to turn down a musical since I thought I had lines in this episode.
What I didn't mean for that to happen.
Despite all of this, in the end, after the former members have left, he was quick to ask another team member who also felt uncomfortable by Bianca's presence, along with her explosive fights, asking them if it was okay to bring back Bianca, despite this individual complaining to him earlier about how unsafe they felt around Bianca, to the point that this individual almost did try to K-word themselves due to Bianca's constant fights. Despite Corey acknowledging how problematic Bianca is, he still re-invited her back and would leave this message to her in front of the entire server, claiming that he was never given a second chance, when, in reality, that is not true. He was given several chances and made promises to keep those chances. But yet, he broke all of them. Every single one. Upon re-entering the server, Bianca was quickly treated highly than everyone else, as she was before, when she was introduced as the voice actor of Milky Way again to another individual who would later join the server. After the first few members left the server on June 16, 2022, a few more members would leave on a later date, causing Corey to instantly give up on the series and delete the server. This is because, due to his belief that you apparently need to keep the original cast, otherwise the series would be deemed as bad. Logically, not many people would notice rather than care about a character's voice being different, as there are multiple different shows that do have some of their characters have different voice actors. Heck, even one character would have 2 separate voice actors, one providing a singing voice and the other providing their speaking voice for that same character. Yet, no one bats an eye at this. But according to Corey, it's a completely different story. Another reason why the server would be deleted would be due to a Twitter call-out made by an anonymous ex-member of the server. It is still unknown who made the account, and even the members I've interviewed don't even know either, but are rather more disappointed with Corey's responses to the evidence being presented publicly. Corey even deemed the evidence as not controversial, saying that people who don't care about what the voice actors went through, even stating that he has no respect for the people he's affected, yet with all of this, Corey continues painting himself as innocent even when being asked about what happened to the server on his YouTube channel, such as when would a new episode happen, despite him making a community post stating that he canceled the series, along with posting false information on his wiki page, further painting himself as a victim and his former team members as the ones in the wrong. The information he posted on his wiki page were completely out of context and gave little to almost no information as to what happened, despite one comment he would made under the wiki page where he would state that he was being hated on, which clearly wasn't true. By ending this video, I hope to those who are not informed as to what happened behind the scenes, as well as the truth of what happened to the deleted server, are now fully informed and are aware as to what happened and are now seeing how much victim blaming, guilt tripping, harassment, and emotional exhaustion the former crew members had to endure. I do want to clarify one last time, since Corey did at some point harass one of his former crew members by making a call out against him before later deeming it as a quote-unquote hate post. This video is not intended to spread hate nor invite harassment. This video exists solely to educate the uninformed, which most of you may be informed by now already by the time you're all watching this video. I give my heavy condolences to those I've interviewed who had to deal with this unacceptable and disrespectful work environment that was given to them, and I hope that they're all doing better now that they're away from a toxic environment. Along with hoping that the ones being held accountable realize how cruel their actions were and get off their high horses instead of sending harassment to the people who wasted their time on this project with a director who clearly did not care for it and allowed bad individuals to belittle their team, yet consider themselves victims when there is evidence that states otherwise. I would like to thank those who have watched this video and are now informed as to what happened. Most likely there won't be any other videos after this one, since this channel does not cover drama. However, unless there's a follow-up relating to this situation needed, I'll gladly make another video, but it will most likely be unlikely due to this situation hopefully dying down for now. Anyways, thank you all for watching this informative video, and I'll be taking my leave. See you later.